Hello and welcome to another Writerly Witterings. And first of all, apologies. I've got a dog down there who is lying on a chaise longue idly chewing her claws because she bites her nails. She's a teenager, what do you expect? And I've also got a son up there who's playing hockey, so if you hear loud banging noises, that's probably his flaming hockey ball hitting the side of the walls. Anyway, cheers folks. Now, I was talking to my next door neighbour and he mentioned that his daughter had said to him one day, this is a 10-year-old, "Dad, I think this coronavirus is going to be my Second World War." And he said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "Well, just as you would go to your grandma and grandpa and say, 'What did you do in the war?' She said, I can imagine that my grandchildren will come to me one day and say, 'What did you do during the coronavirus?'" I thought, what an interesting question. What a bright girl. And I mentioned it to my wife and she said, well, it probably means the school teacher told her to think like that. Cynical, my wife, she works in education. However, I prefer to think that my neighbour's daughter is very bright. And it also made me think there's an awful lot of people out there who are not in the fortunate position, like me, of being used to working on their own. This is my office. Here we go. There you can see my chair and books. And there's a nice Apple computer on there as well. And although I can see out through my window, generally that is where I work every day. And I am perfectly used to coming in here in the morning, sitting down and starting to work and not seeing anyone, which was bizarre when I started, having been a salesman focusing on 5 meetings a day. Going to 0 meetings a day was quite peculiar. But I've been doing it for 26, 27 years now, so this is my life. Welcome to my world. You guys may not be quite so used to working on your own or being alone. So I thought, what is the most sensible advice I can give people who aren't used to this sort of thing? Well, obviously, the first thing is get hold of some good books by me, because that gives you something to read, and that's entertaining. But there's also other books. I've recently been fortunate enough to be sent this by Simon Conway. It's his latest book, and you can't read it because it's not out until May the 14th. But I've got it because I know Simon, and he said, "Do you want to review one of my books?" And I said, "Yeah, too right." And it's very good. You can't get this, but you can get past books by him. He's written 5 or 6, and he writes about a military person who's now working for the Secret Intelligence Service. But Simon knows what he's talking about. He's actually a bomb disposal expert. He now spends his time flying off around the world for a charity, digging up landmines and disposing of old Russian warheads and God knows what else. He knows what he's talking about. These books are really good. So that's one thing you can do. Instead of just updating your Netflix, watching Now TV, you can get books and read them, and that's nice. However, it got me thinking when I was listening to my neighbour's daughter. Obviously, it's one of those things that we have events and then we forget about them. Now, one thing I do love is a decent notebook. This one is from paperforfountainpens.com. I've reviewed it only recently and it's fantastic, and it is gradually filling up with my scrawl, as you can see. It's great for me for planning, writing down 2-page synopses of stories and planning what I'm going to write. And in fact, today and tomorrow I'm going to be finishing off a short story that I've been planning for some time, and it's in there. Immediately after that I'm going to write another short story, which is going to be planned and scribbled down here. And then after that I'm going to get on with the next Bloody Mary Tudor story. And I'm looking forward to that. But there are other ways of making notes. Now, I have an inordinate number of notebooks, as you can see all along here. I've got Leuchtturms, which I do like. Leuchtturm are very good because every page is numbered, it's got a content section, the paper's very good. If you use a real gusher, yes, it'll go through slightly, but I still find them very, very practical, good notebooks. But anything with Tomo River in it, that's very good. So there's an awful lot of different notebooks you can use to record your feelings and your ideas. Now, there's also another notebook, which I've spoken about before. Yes, you recognise this. It's my William Hanna WH notebook, which is fantastic, and I use it all the time just now. However, there's some things in here which I haven't mentioned before, and I thought I would just quickly mention them today. A to-do list. Now, a to-do list is very handy, but especially when you've got one which has notes on the opposite page. I like that. This, however, is what I wanted to mention today. Now, David Round at William Hanna sent me a whole bunch of different things for me to look at when he sent me my notebook. And looking through them, this is not something I would use, but it could be useful for you if you're not used to writing a journal, and also if you're just thinking about things with the coronavirus, you're getting worried, this could be a way of just getting your ideas down on paper. So it's got today's happiness level. It's got, have you done your meditation? Have you taken exercise? Have you read or learned something? I'm grateful for, so you've got a box there. A positive from yesterday. Yesterday I learned, so something you obviously learned. A creative or positive idea that you've had. A thought around one of my goals. Today's critical action. 2 further key actions, a stretch target, my intentions for today, and then on the next page it has random thoughts, which I find very useful because most of my thoughts are random. A critical action, you've got a key actions, you've got stretch targets, and then what did I learn today? And a thought for tomorrow. Now, the only reason why I mentioned these is because it's useful to have some sort of guidance and focus for your thoughts. I am perfectly happy, he says, reaching over, to use something like this to keep all of my thoughts in it because I'm used to this. I've been scribbling my own notes and keeping my own ideas for the last 26 odd years in my working life. That's great for me. It's not ideal necessarily for other people. So it just occurred to me that for some people, maybe for yourself, something like this, which is guiding you to keep a daily track of things, could be useful. It saves you the hassle of sitting down and going down a dead-end route. It's giving you a focus and a direction for your thoughts. David Round has done a lot of investigation into different types of motivational strategy, meditation. He's been in business for donkey's years before he started up his own notebook company. So I would recommend, if you want to keep a journal and you're not sure where to start, go and have a look at the williamhanna.com website and have a look at the different pages that they've got set up there. That could be useful. What else might help you? Well, the main thing is to keep yourself motivated. So the first thing I would say is, while we're in lockdown, don't just lie in bed. Do get up in the morning and make your days productive in some way. Not just by trying to do work, but also make sure that you start work at the usual time, 9 o'clock, whatever it might be. You do take a lunch break and you do stop at 5:30 or whenever you normally do. And then make sure you use the rest of the time with your family or knocking about the house. We're going to be cleaning up my yard. That's a project that will take a significant amount of time, but it's going to be done at last. Another thing that we do is we've discovered the joys of board games. Scrabble has been used a lot in the last few days, as have various dice games. So you can actually make a positive out of this really rather unpleasant lockdown process. Because at the end of the day, lockdown will end at some point. It's not the end of the world. It could be the end of several businesses. It could be the end of a lot of the way of life that we're used to. However, you're still a human being. You still have lots of things to achieve, lots of things to do, and you can do them. But one thing that may help you is just keeping a journal, keeping a track of what you've done every day, and then apart from anything else, it means that in years to come, when your grandchildren or great-grandchildren say, "So what did you do during the coronavirus outbreak?" you can say, "Here's my book, you can read it." If you can read my handwriting. That could be an issue. There's one other thought I would like to leave you with, and that is that I'm very busy right now making a loaf of bread. Sourdough. It'll be good, it'll be good. But there's other things you can do with yeast. So I just want to leave you with this picture of one of the many things you can do with yeast. Here you are. This is a very delightful barrel of 5 gallons of imitation King and Barnes Old Sussex Ale, which I made. And if you want, I can show you the empty barrel in about 3 weeks, because I expect that's how long it'll take me to get rid of it. Nah, it'll take longer than that. I rarely have more than a pint or two a day, and only 3 or 4 days a week. But it's lovely, lovely beer. So there's another thing you can do. Find a local shop that sells homebrew gear and start brewing. I hope that was interesting. I hope it was fun. But most of all, I hope it diverted you slightly from the grim news. Thanks a lot for watching. If you'd like to support this channel, as usual, you can go to the Patreon link and then you can support me that way, and you can hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button if you want to know when there's more videos coming out. Add any comments you've got down the bottom, because I'm always keen to read them, and I will reply as quickly as possible. And share it and tell your friends, and you never know, I might get up to 5,000 subscribers. Wow, that would be a lot. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care, keep safe, keep healthy, and stay indoors. Cheers, take care.